So a digital maturity assessment is great because it allows leaders to not just get started, but begin to understand where they are to begin with. A lot of organizations think about moving themselves forward and digital transformation like there's some kind of super tanker and turning a super tanker. That analogy gets used a lot, but I rarely see that within organizations. Mostly what I see is much more akin to like a flotilla of small ships where some of them are staying where they are and clustered, some of them are over the horizon, some of them are on fire. And really so what we're trying to do with the digital maturity assessment is understand that landscape, have a picture of where you are as an organization so that you can start to take action. So it's really about understanding where am I and what do I need to invest in next. So leadership as a foundational pillar is utterly critical, because if you don't have the backing of the C-suite, then nothing you do is going to end up being successful. So leadership involvement, input, engagement is key. And then from a strategy perspective, we know that in 2025, it's absolutely clear that the world is moving at pace, things are shifting, the global context and the pace of technology change is unprecedented. And so we need to have strategies that are flexible and able to move forward. So leadership and strategy, absolutely foundational. Culture has an absolutely massive impact on the ability for an organization to succeed. And so in terms of digital maturity, again, it's one of our pillars. So you can buy any number of tools to support you. You absolutely cannot buy culture. It's a hard-won prize to build that kind of culture within your organization that values and champions digital. And so ultimately what that culture will result in is a leaning in towards training and development, towards improvement, and so absolutely foundational. So 3 things tend to slow down this kind of transformation. So the first is your delivery approach. Everyone's heard of Agile. A load of organizations use Agile, think they're delivering Agile well, but often what organizations want is the comfort factor of knowing exactly what they're going to get at the end of the process. And typically what happens is by the time that's actually been implemented, it's no longer fit for purpose because the world has moved on. So really embracing that delivery approach to suggest that we're going to be constantly looking at what is most important and focusing on that. That's absolutely key. So second is workflow processes. It's often the case that organizations have lots of manual workflow processes that are clunky, that require sort of desk spinning to sort of type from one system, take information and put it in another. So getting those workflow processes right is really critical. And so understanding that is key for your digital maturity. And then finally, guardrails. So security and compliance are obviously going to be key, but organizations usually end up at one extreme or the other. They either end up with wanting to move fast and break stuff, and you end up with lots of situations where you're exposed as an organization. But equally, if you end up at the other extreme and you lock everything down, then you're stifling innovation. So what we're really trying to look for is that right balance and having the guardrails where security and compliance are actually seen as enablers of innovation. So hopefully the customer shows up everywhere in this, but too often the customer is nowhere in this process to be found. So what we're looking for to indicate digital maturity is where the customer is placed at the heart of things. There's a real focus on clear customer journeys and coherence to that customer journey. So things like understanding accessibility, having personalization in there, having experimentation in there to actually optimize and improve the customer experience are real indicators of digital maturity over time. What we're looking for is a picture where the customer is placed at the heart of things and customer data leads to maturity. It's a really clear indication of how mature an organization is. The greater the use of customer data to drive insights and then drive outcomes, the greater the digital maturity. So in the context of data and your technology systems, a digital maturity assessment is going to reveal whether your technology is an enabler or whether it's holding you hostage. Because ultimately what we're looking at are things like, are your systems able to integrate really effectively together? Are they connected, or are they keeping things in silos? Is your system able to expand and scale? And is it able to take on board some of the new tools and systems like, delivering through AI? Or is it locked down? Is it a behemoth system, which is all a monolith? Or Is it composable, where you can actually have a lot of flexible parts of an ecosystem that can adapt and evolve with you? That's really what we're looking at when we're assessing the digital maturity of your tech systems. So what we would expect a leader to do with this information is not treat it like it's just some sort of number to be there as a checklist item. Really what it's giving you is clarity. And ultimately what we're looking for leaders to do with it is say, okay, I now understand where I'm at, but I also understand where I've got weaknesses and where I've got strengths in my organization. And so it gives you a roadmap for where your investment should be, how I can start looking at those individual components, prioritize them, and start building a business case to make my organization better.